Ladies and gentlemen, happy Victory Monday. As you can see, I have the victory shades on, my dome piece, and look at this, folks. I'm trying out a victory stash, all right? Rate my stash 1 to 10 in the live chat as you are coming in, all right? Damn, it feels so good to be a winner. It really does. And talk about a tale of two halves. It was absolutely insane. I was doom and gloom for the first of it. But then afterwards, we saw the Buffalo Bills get back to good old boring football, which equaled a win. We ultimately ended up putting up the most rushing yards in Pittsburgh Steelers home history. All right. That's probably not a good thing that Steelers fans are rating at this point. But damn, man, it is very good. Bills team is 8-4. And I got to tell you what, some people might look at me like I'm a homer when I say things like this. But the data doesn't lie, and the records don't lie. This team is a very good team in December. Is this teasing a potential run for this Buffalo Bills team? I'll tell you what, we are great when it comes into this time of the year. But damn, man, have to clean up a couple of more things. I am super excited to lock on into this. As always, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up sign. Let's propel this out to the YouTube algorithm, and more importantly, subscribe to the channel. And also, let me know where you're tuning in from. What corner of the globe are you tapping in from? Do not be shy. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to know where you're tapping in from. Guys, we need to give a giant shout out to a couple of our proud partners here today, starting off with our good friends over at William Mattar. Folks, if you are ever hurt in a car, you've got to call William Mattar, #1 car accident attorney in the state of New York. I would never wish a car accident on anybody. But say, for example, it does happen to you, you need to have this top of mind, all right? Memorize this phone number and keep it in the back. And a giant shout out to our good friends at William Mattar. We also need to give a giant shout out to our good friends over at Garage Beer. Folks, drink Garage Beer. It is beer tasting beer. One of the proud partners over here, and a lot of the reasons why we are able to have the Garage Beer Hotline, the official drink of the Don Mafia show. Shout out to Garage Beer. We sincerely appreciate you. And last but not least, Sleeper. Folks, if you think that Drake May is going to get sacked 5+ times, or the New York Giants are going to ultimately end up winning tonight, Put your money where your mouth is. On Sleeper, they're literally giving you a free $20 just for signing up. Very simple process. Just make a parlay of anywhere between 2 to 5 players. Say, for example, you accurately predict all of these, you could be a big winner. Shout out to Sleeper. Thank you so much for being a proud partner. And without further ado, let's go on ahead and get down into business. Where is everybody tapping in from today? Do not be shy, folks. I want to know where you're tapping in from. Let's have a conversation. Salem, Virginia is in the building. What is going on? Tampa is here. Chicago is here. Seattle, Washington, go Bills. Big dub. Chattanooga is in the building. Pennsylvania, Hurley, New York. Vero Beach, Florida is in the building. Depew, New York. Scranton, Pennsylvania in the building. What is going on? Toronto, go Bills. Gillette, Wyoming is here. I'm here for the Cook jersey. Have no fear. We're going to be doing that giveaway here later on in the episode. Donut, New Jersey is in the building. Smash that like button. Mr. Bop, what is going on, man? I hope all is well. Pensacola, live literally right down the road from you, my friend. I appreciate that. Jungo, Tempe, Arizona, go Bills is in the building. We have Alexandria, Virginia. Atlanta, Georgia. Buffalo, Mexico is in here. Amherst, New York. Cheektowaga, New York. Atlanta. This fan base is worldwide. It's crazy. It is really, really crazy. Folks, we have a great show for you today. We really do. We're going to be welcoming our good friend Tommy on for our normal reaction stream. But first up, I did want to sort of introduce you guys to a brand new segment, one of which that I have been trying to put together for quite some time. And I got to tell you what, I give this person who has decided to join all the credit in the world. It is called Dan Mitchell versus Burner accounts. I have asked so many different times for a bunch of random accounts that disagree with me on a couple of things Buffalo Bills related. Several of them never want to show up. But I give this gentleman all the credit in the world for having the stones to come on here and talk a little bit of football with us. I ask each and every single one of you that we need to give our guests some respect. Please give us a warm welcome to this gentleman once I end up bringing him in. And also, for all mods that are currently in here, no personal attacks will be allowed to our guest or anybody else in the chat. Mods, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, please utilize it as the Supreme Court recognized porn in 1967. You may not know what it is, but you'll know it when you see it. Anyway, without further ado, we have the burner account of the century, Tax. What's going on, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Chilling, man. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. Just family time, you know. Nice
Family,
to get that.
everything on? Okay. All
Yeah.
right. So I feel you. Are
about
you
you?
in the Buffalo area or what's up?
Yeah. Yep. I'm in the South Town, so we got about 2 foot of snow down here, but
Yeah,
we're in
dude. For
Buffalo.
some reason, I heard you guys got fucking hammered this weekend. I'm sorry to hear that. No, it's funny,
dude.
man. I was and so I was born in South Buffalo, and then I lived in Hamburg until I was about 14 years old. And then my dad just said, you know, fuck shoveling driveways, I'm down. So like he moved like my family down to South Carolina, and now I live in Florida. And I can't tell you that I miss it. And surprisingly enough. Yeah.
Nah, yeah, I don't blame you, man. It's tough to deal with your whole life. I mean, it's fun for a little bit, but in moderation, I suppose.
I mean, yeah, dude, like skiing and snowboarding is cool like twice. And so then
Right.
afterwards, it's just like, fuck it, dude. Just bring on the spring, dude. Victory Monday, bro. Victory Monday. How are you feeling? And how are you feeling, man? Weird season. And something that I've been telling myself is that I understand this has been a roller coaster of a season. And I'm not sure whether or not that you agree with me on this point, but it's hard for me to find a fan base that should be feeling good about their team this year, which strangely gives me optimism moving forward. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's probably, less than a handful, I would say, maybe the Rams. There's a couple teams, that might not have been projected to be so good. So, they might be happy about their team. They are right now. But, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Where we are currently, it's tough. We've been battling injuries all year. And then there's been a lot of other things, that come into play as well. That just, it's been ugly football here and there. It's typical mid-year Bills stuff. It sucks, but I don't know if in my eyes, if we can keep this momentum rolling and get through this next stretch of 4 or 5 games against some pretty solid competition. I will be a lot more hopeful than I am right now, but where I am right now is we've lost to the Dolphins, we've lost to the Falcons, we got a lot of losses, and can't sort that out. Then it's not going to be pretty, but
yeah, for sure, man. Like one thing I know, so especially between you and I over on Twitter, like we've certainly been in disagreement of what the hell is wrong with this offense, right? And that's the beauty about football, right? Because when it comes into opinions, no one's really right until the end of the season, right? Like you can make educated like assumptions, but nobody's right until the end of the season. So I'm sort of curious based off of what you saw last night, if you are still of the position of what you believe is wrong with this side of the ball, and then I'll go ahead and I'll give you mine.
My main concern is really the lack of creativity from the play calling. And, I get that Josh, has the ability to audible and check, but, when you look at teams like, for example, the Bears, obviously, in my opinion, Ben Johnson is one of the best offensive coordinators in the league, especially at,
shirtless Ben Johnson, bro.
Yeah, I'll do it right now. But, I feel like, and then, even last night, we ran a zone scheme for running the whole time. And, thank God it worked because it looked great last night. But when we're talking about, some of the best offense coordinators in the league and what they, put on the table, that one play by Ben Johnson this past week was crazy. He has, the tight end in motion and he's coming back with a, crack block, and then the fullback is going a different way, and then the wide receiver is going a different way, and then they run the ball straight up the middle. It's like there's so many moving pieces. And then you look at, kind of our offense, and like I said, thank God for Cromer and James Cook, because James is one of the best zone runners in the league, almost
He is.
Opinion. And then, Cromer really knows how to make it work with what he's given. And a lot of our linemen are good at zone blocking on top of it. And I think, and I honestly think Josh's biggest problem is mostly hero ball. He thinks
so. You and I are on the same page there.
Yeah, he thinks he's got to do too much this year, and I think that kind of creates bigger problems. But also in the same hand, it's like, he's going through his reads and he's, working through his 1 and his 2, and then he looks back across the field and he's just not. It's pretty evident to me that he's not comfortable trying to fit in the ball in a lot of places where there's a lack of separation, and then you get times where he does try to force it in, and it's like what happened with Gabe Davis last night. It's 3rd and long. We needed, I don't even know, it was probably about 10 yards we needed. He throws it towards the sticks, and Gabe Davis just with a slight hesitation on, is he going to throw it behind so I can, stop in the zone a little bit, or is he going to throw it to the sticks? And it feels like all year it's been something, like that. But then also in the same hand, I understand why Josh doesn't want to fit it in and throw it certain times, because he did hit Keon and Khalil Shakir in the hands in, perfect slant plays, something that is, pretty basic for a lot of offenses. And so in my opinion, it's like, what do you really want Josh to do in those situations when he does have someone open? It's a slant play. Every receiver should be able to run it. Every receiver should be able to catch it if it hits him right in the chest. And you got both of those guys dropping, and they're supposed to be our guys, Khalil and Keon. I give Khalil a lot of slack because he does a lot in this offense, especially screenplays. But it's tough to really, pinpoint it on Josh in the aspect that he's kind of working with what he's got. And, and my main point really is that, when Josh does have the availability and skill at the wide receiver position, we've seen what he can do. He's capable of putting up 35 plus passing touchdowns, 4K plus yards. But when he's, not given the best weapons, I mean, the numbers came out yesterday, and we have an undrafted free agent that was supposed to be a practice squad player this year as our leading snap guy. And I don't hate Shavers, but it's like, when you're relying on that, I mean, it's just, I can't really put too much of the blame on Josh with, what he's working with, and
so he was the Disney Channel original movie player of training camp, right? Like everyone on earth was just like, oh, Shavers, he's going to be the guy. And I never buy into that, right?
Yeah,
like I refuse to buy into the whole like Christian Wades of the world. Oh my God, why isn't he getting snaps? Like, guys, he barely made the roster. Okay. He's not our savior at the end of the day.
Yeah, these guys are professional.
So half of the reason and like why I've kind of been so hard on Josh Allen this year is it's no question that I'm a numbers guy, right? And some people, and depending on who you ask, it's just like, no, it's film truly tells the story. Why I always end up going back to numbers from my perspective is that I'd say about 90% of the people that say, quote unquote, watch the film are not watching film. They are watching people watch film on various YouTube shows. And that's a great thing, right? Like, that's how you ultimately end up learning the game. But like, no one's truly sitting back and watching each and every single snap, because in order for you to pull everything from film, it would take you weeks, 15 to 20 minutes per clip when you're looking at, okay, like what did the offensive line do in this blocking scheme? What was the run concept? What if the Buffalo Bills were to be running out of 12 or 13 man personnel? Would it have been more statistically successful in this case scenario? Very oftentimes when people look at these film reviews on YouTube, a lot of these guys are pulling 10 to 12 plays that are going to skyrocket emotions, right? Like bad plays, for example. Like one of the perfect examples was Emmanuel Acho, like last week. And Bills fans totally forgot that he spent a career over on Fox Sports trashing the Buffalo Bills, right? Like completely just escaped their minds. Like, oh my God, he's right.
Yeah,
but normally when you look at those like film review videos, it's 7 to 8 plays, and it really accounts for about 10 to 15% of the entire game in totality. So why I focus so much on data is that I'm like, okay, first off, it's going to save me a shit ton of time. And so I'm not going to need to sit back and spend 12 hours unpacking everything, looking at it from a variety of different lenses. And I'm going to understand key differences. So as far as the separation thing with wide receivers, it could be better. Trust me, I wanted Kyle Williams in the third. I thought Landon Jackson was an awful pick, right? I wanted us to give the first round for Jalen Waddle. But unfortunately, this is what we have. Like, this is what it is. And Buffalo's seeing a lot of zone coverage this year. So like when you hear people talk about, oh, it's separation from wide receivers, separation doesn't help with zone coverage. It's about guys finding open space. And typically it's right in front of Josh Allen and it's underneath. And he hates that. He hates taking shit underneath. And I don't blame him. He's a dog. He can throw piss missiles all over the damn field. I totally get it. But when you ultimately end up looking at comparisons, side-by-side comparisons, and like you'll hear that this Buffalo Bills team is just not creating separation, right? Like we're 12th in the league right now as far as at least one open man is somewhere. Whether or not it's, you know, like right underneath on a quick slant, it's just Josh is like, you know what, fuck it. And so I'm going to go on ahead and try and squeeze it down 20 yards downfield into triple coverage instead. The only key difference from last year, as far as yards per play, as far as points scored, like right now, surprisingly enough, we're top 5 in the league for points scored this year, which is insane. 10th in the league for passing. The only key difference from us right now, and it's not only on Josh, it's just that we are collectively broken from a discipline side of things. The only staggering difference from last year, Tax, is that we have seen a 75% increase in turnovers, 50% in interceptions, and just completely going nuts. Like every single game that we lost, 3 turnovers, with the exception, I think, of the Patriots where we had 2. But 3 turnovers was the sauce. And that's why we ultimately ended up losing. And that's kind of where my head was at. This offensive line has also been having a massive issue when it comes into false start penalties by putting us in awful 3rd and long situations where Josh is more prone to be getting sacked because he's going to be going out ahead and trying to rush through his progressions. He's going to try and bail out of the pocket too soon. He's going to get sacked by itself. But I feel like people online think that I'm rooting against him. I'm not at all. He's like my QB1. I love Josh Allen. I want that. But for me, why I'm so focused in on the whole turnover side of things is that I know that it's fixable. And we saw that during the second half of the Pittsburgh Steelers game. And as much as I would love to continue to lambast this offensive coordinator, head coaching, like front office, sure, that's good. But for me, what's the sense, right? Like, yeah, like we can all line up on a picket line and demand that Brandon Beane gets thrown out on his ass. But do we really think the Pagulas are going to do that when they're 8-4? Probably not. So that's kind of where like my whole side of things, and so is resting. And luckily, like now we're getting into December where statistically and historically this team performs relatively well. And this is when Josh locks in. And we all know what he's like in the playoffs. Like this guy is a protect the football type animal like out there. So that's my take.
Yeah, no, and I can agree. Turnovers definitely have a lot to do with every game. You know, most games are won within a field goal. It's, you know,
exactly
3 less points and
game of inches.
On 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't disagree. I think most of the issue really is just like I was saying earlier, his trust in who he has to work with and, you know, who's available to him.
Exactly. And so hopefully with Brandon Cooks, like, I mean, he can get going. And so I didn't expect him to really be like a big piece of this offense. Like the dude had the playbook for like 3 days. So
Grouchy
I'm hoping
one of the better on our roster almost immediately. Probably outside.
Oh yeah. Yeah. By a country mile. He hands down has the most like so diverse route tree. And so that we have, right? So
one catch last night, much wide open on that comeback, and it's like, you know, I guess if he knows how to run a comeback.
And so it was a fucking thing of beauty.
Yeah.
And so it was a thing of beauty, man. Just like lock in on the playbook, Cooks, and get us going. Right before I get you out of here, is there a world where them damn New York Football Giants can take care of the Patriots tonight?
I don't know.
Talk to me about
Where
it.
are they playing? Are they playing in New England or are they playing in MetLife?
Yeah, it's in New England,
Oh, shit.
but the Patriots are without Will Campbell.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they're starting left tackle, and that's a pretty scary pass rush they have out there. So
Yeah, that's a really good point to make. I mean, Abdul Carter has been a little bit less than what people expected, but Brian Burns, on the other hand, has been a freak of nature this year, which would have been
yeah,
great. But that's
has more sacks than the San Francisco 49ers combined, I want to say, or last time I checked.
I don't know. Like I said, part of me wants to miss the playoffs, so this whole thing kind of gets blown up. And my biggest really fear of being a Bills fan is that we finally got a franchise quarterback, and my biggest fear is that we're going to waste his career in Buffalo. And
Yeah.
that's just terrible to think about. But that's when we're losing to these terrible teams in just awful ways, and no draft capital goes towards getting Josh real legitimate weapons. I mean, even just trying, when we're in, I know you're being really good at picking up defenders in the mid rounds, but we got to start taking stabs at guys, guys that are running 4-4, but they might not have a great route tree. So that's why they're going down to the 4th or 5th round. It's like, take a stab on these guys. Maybe it works out. Maybe we some type of freak that, and doesn't even have to be a player that's, relied on in our offense, but just to create some type of, diversion or just that threat of a deep ball or something like that. And, that's my biggest issue really with what's going on is, half of it is I really don't want to
cast
career. And then, the other half of it is I know who he is in the playoffs and I know what our team is capable of doing in the playoffs if we get there.
Yeah.
God forbid we actually become healthy at that point. So obviously don't want to miss playoffs because I know we have a chance as long as we're in there, but it feels like every year it's like something small we see during the season, and then we'll have one or two good playoff games, and then that small thing we've seen all year just becomes a massive glaring problem when we're playing against teams like the Chiefs, or I guess the Bengals, the only other real team that's given us issues. But
yeah, man. So I'm looking definitely for an aggressive offseason for sure. And so I imagine what an Alec Pierce on this team would look like, followed by a Brazel, and perhaps from Tennessee would be ideal.
Yeah.
But what keeps me optimistic is really the only thing that has been holding us back has been those damn Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm not particularly sure that this team even has a path in the playoffs as it speaks right now. So in my eyes, time is of the essence. But folks, I'm going to need to give a giant shout out to my boy Tax over here. Go follow him over on X, 716 Tax. He is public enemy number 1 for Baltimore Ravens fans and Kansas City Chiefs fans. He is a good follow. Tax, you know what? My goal was that by the time you came on this show, you were going to leave and liking me, bro. And I hope that I genuinely ended up making that happen.
Well, you know how it goes. When everybody's talking on Twitter and stuff, it's easy to like misconstrue stuff and not get a full conversation. So, you're getting a post with however many words and you're just, taking it for a grain of salt. But, as long as you're in Bills Mafia, I don't hate you, but it's different when you can have a thorough conversation and kind of hash things out a little bit.
It is.
And like I said, there's things I really don't disagree with you with, but I just can't stomach, putting all of our offense's issues, in certain hands. I think it's a collective of issues or whatnot, but
for sure, man. Well, once again, my friend, you are welcome to come on anytime, and I appreciate you tapping in, dude. Like I said, it definitely takes balls to come on here, so I definitely appreciate you.
Yeah,
see you, bro.
Really nice chatting with you.
See you, man. Have a good one. Shout out, dude. Dan Mitchell versus burner accounts. Ladies and gentlemen, episode 1. Man, you love to see it. Guys, do me a favor. Hit that thumbs up sign. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't had an opportunity of doing so already. Last night, we ultimately ended up hitting 49,000 subscribers on this channel, which is insane. It's fantastic. So do me a favor, hit that thumbs up sign, and let's lock in because we have a lot to discuss with this Buffalo Bills team. And one thing I want to say is, holy hell, how about that damn defense, brother? How about that damn defense? Look, one thing I would like to say is run defense. It's pretty clear that Shaq Thompson needs to be a part of this linebacker room when you're running base. Dorian Williams, Matt Milano, and Shaq Thompson, in my opinion, need to be the starting linebacker core. Because God, did they have answers. This is the best I've seen the run defense look all season long. Now, I understand that we like Bernard. He's the captain of this team. He calls the defense, right? But if you were to ask me, and this is probably going to be a take that a lot of people get upset with, but I'm always going to tell you how it is. I think Terrell Bernard, and this is no fault of his own, I think he's playing through an injury right now. I think he deserves the Taylor Rapp. So I think that he deserves the Taylor Rapp treatment of being added to the IR, all but ending his season so that he can get healthy and come back next year. Why? Because while Bernard is decent in coverage, I would say, he has been a liability when it comes into stopping the run. It's just how it is. It's him, it's Taron Johnson. But when Shaq Thompson is out on the field, Dorian Williams and Matt Milano, this team, and granted, I know we're rolling the dice because all three of them have a pretty decorated type injury history. I think that is your dynamic, like at the end of the day. I really think that that's the unit that Buffalo should run with for the rest of the season because Warren and Gainwell are no bums. And what did the Buffalo Bills do last night as far as run defense, where we were concerned that 35-mile-an-hour winds, and so the Buffalo Bills have one of the worst run defenses in the league. And what do? Ladies and gents, we ultimately end up holding the entire Pittsburgh Steelers run game to about 55, 60 yards at the end of the day. I love that. And I'm not trying to disrespect Bernard. I think that he ultimately ended up putting his things out and proving that he's a solid captain of this team. But at some point, something has to give. You have to go out and you have to make these difficult decisions like Buffalo has done earlier in this season where they all but soft benched Taylor Rapp and ended up signing Jordan Poyer. I think that this is the recipe for a more consistent type run defense. I'm curious to see if the coaching staff agrees with me. Quite literally. Now, one thing that needs to get a hell of a lot more credit is this damn secondary. Do y'all want to talk about secondary? Chat, we might have the best secondary in the NFL. We very well might. Christian Benford has been a man possessed. Held DK Metcalf. And by the way, Christian Benford was shadowing DK Metcalf last night and held him to 3 receptions for 32 yards off of 5 targets. Talk about lockdown. Physicality from CB1. We needed that, folks. We needed that from CB1. With Maxwell Harrison's been playing well. Public enemy number 1, Tre'Davious White, he has been playing well. He made several plays last night. We're not giving him enough love. Cole Bishop, again, a man possessed. Jordan Poyer, his old ass going out there and making plays. I think this defense has been figured out. As long as you end up being consistent in your player personnel packages, and for the love of all that is holy, can we go on ahead and knock on wood and hope that we can be okay? Our pass rush is not where it's going to be ever again in 2025. We're far too injured. Now we heard Joey Bosa is going to be out for I don't know how long. He has a hamstring injury, which is going to be a problem. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's nothing new to Bills fans. How many years has this Buffalo Bills team had what we would consider to be an elite secondary, which I feel like we should start having that conversation, and question marks in the pass rush side of things? And how about Shaq Lawson? Okay, how about Shaq Lawson, right? So many of us were wanting to crash out a couple of days ago, and Shaq Lawson was brought into this team. It's no question, guys. He was brought in to stop the run, right? And run defense looked pretty damn good. So when it comes into it, love what I saw from the defense today. And so I had a hot take earlier on Wednesday when we had my buddy Cold Front on for the preview segment of this show. And my hot take was that this Buffalo Bills defense was going to have the best showing of run defense we have seen all season. Call it dumb luck or call it knowing ball. Just what it is. And listen, this Buffalo Bills team is where it's at. It's where it's at, man. Shout out to the defense. I cannot be happier with what we saw out on the field. As far as the offense, right? Look, I know that nobody likes this. And so I know that nobody likes the 15 for 23, 123 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. But folks, as much as we would like to show you, this wins games. This wins games, man. The Buffalo Bills, 15 to 23, 123 yards. This wins games, baby. Taking what the defense gives you. Running the football. And for the love of all that is holy. And for the love that is all holy, baby. Josh Allen ultimately ended up starting to run the damn football. Shout out to Joe Brady for dialing that up. Because when things aren't there, when there's no answers in the downfield passing game, what has made this team a threat, what has schemed guys open, that is allowing your quarterback to start busting off some runs. And he looked great, dude. 8 carries for 38 yards. That's a winning recipe. That is a winning recipe right there, folks. It's boring. It's not pretty, but it is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Tommy should be joining us here shortly, folks, as we end up getting his takes of the game. I know Joe Brady finally started running the ball and ran the same play because the Steelers couldn't stop it, but do you think Joe is going to have to develop a different scheme to be successful? Eddie's coming in with a great question. So here's my thing. Like when it comes into this offense is too predictable, okay? Have you ever ended up playing a team or somebody on Madden, for example? Like you're playing a newbie on Madden, and this kid is just running the draw play over and over and over and over again because he had some sense of success with that play. Once you end up starting to adjust to that, like you're holding that kid to negative yards by the time the Madden game is all but over. Last night, this Pittsburgh Steelers team was not adjusting. So I'm not mad at the Buffalo Bills running a shit ton of duo runs all game because Pittsburgh didn't have an answer for it. How I look at this coaching staff and how I look at Joe Brady is I'm not going to yell at this guy when he has a clear personnel mismatch from the run game against the specific run defense. If, for example, always ride with the old statement of if it's not broken, don't fix it. Or if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And this whole thing when it comes into, like with this offense is all too predictable, you have to remember something. Just because an offense is predictable does not particularly mean that the defense that we're going up against has the personnel to efficiently execute against it. Sometimes you just have a clear personnel mismatch. And quite frankly, there's not a lot of teams out there, specifically in the AFC, minus the Houston Texans, that have the personnel to match that. So I'm never going to blame Joe Brady for hammering on a very similar play over and over and over again when he's getting 8 to 9 yards per carry. I'm not going to fault him into always running on first and second down when we are one of the best rushing offenses in the NFL on first and second down. You need to lean into your strengths on this team. Do you want us to go out and start focusing on things that we're not statistically good against just for the sake of changing things up? Not me. Not me. So always remember, yes, things can be predictable, but sometimes there are such clear mismatches when it comes into personnel that it doesn't really matter. Like you need the dogs out there to execute on the opposite end of the ball. And that's what we saw. Clean, complementary football. Take what the defense gives you. Still want to clean up those turnovers. That's a big reason what's wrong with this team. However, 8-4, I'm feeling pretty damn good. How does Tommy feel about this?
What up, Dan? What up?
Dude, you know what, man? Victory shades are on, brother.
Ah, dude.
By the way, And so are those Ray-Bans you got on, bro?
They are Ray-Bans, of course.
I got the bands myself, brother.
Look at Dan.
So I got the bands.
Look at
and by the way, bro, and so you can't see it, and so I'm going with the stash. You see it?
Oh, man, look at you. Look at Dan. Is this because you're 49,000? Is that because you reached 49? You're feeling pretty good today?
It's the 49K stash, you know what I mean? And so it looks like that I'm not allowed within 50 feet of a Chuck E. Cheese, but I like it.
Well, congratulations on the mustache and the 49.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah, man. Happy Victory Monday to you, Dan. Happy Victory Monday to all of Bill's Mafia out there rocking with us today, man. Hey, look, man, a win is a win. The offense, Dan, listen, man, I'm glad it worked out yesterday, and it's great when it works because you're going to get those dubs, right? Yeah. But when it doesn't is why we get the L's, right? Yes. And that is a very concerning. Dude, I gotta be honest with you. This passing game is about as brutal as it was in 2018. I mean, I'm looking at the 2018 team, and receiver wise, and you got, you got some bad numbers out there. You got Zay Jones at 652, Robert Foster at 541. Believe it or not, Robert Foster will probably would be one of our best receivers right now on this team, which is wild to say, but that's how poorly this passing attack is. And I really truly believe it does fall right in the lap of Joe Brady. There's no way, Dan, these receivers are that bad. I don't believe that. I think it's scheme. I think it's the routes they're running. He's just not putting them in good positions to win their matchups. And I see it. I see the routes they're running. I watched the all 22. I get what you're saying about Josh. I understand the criticism, and I want to say this too, because it seems like it's weird when it comes to this whole criticizing certain players or coaches or whatever it may be. Like, you criticize Josh, you're going to get heat for it, right? And you know this.
Always.
I don't criticize enough.
Than anybody.
I don't do it enough, and I get heat because I don't do it enough, right? But if I did it a lot,
and maybe I do it too much. So when me and Tommy collab, it's the perfect mix. It's the perfect mix.
So it's like, I try my best, guys, to you got to sometimes pan out, and you got to look at the big picture. It's not solely about one guy. The football is the ultimate team sport, right? And it takes a lot to get the dub, right? To get wins, to be successful. And that starts with the coaches, the coordinator, all the coaching staff, the players, everything. Everything has to go right. And I really, truly believe, because where it starts is the coaching staff, Joe Brady is a problem with this passing attack. I'm glad he got it right with the running attack. I'm thankful for that, because that's something that the Bills often struggled with before Brady got here was running the ball. But then it's almost like we inherited that good part of it, but then we lost the passing part of it, right? So it's like, you know what I mean? So so I wish we could be more balanced and have a better passing attack when needed, because not every game's going to go like this. And we know this. We've seen games where James Cook is, the defense is honing down on James Cook and the run game is not going as good as it should go. And then we need to rely on our passing game. And that's where we score 12 points. That's where we lose games. So that would be my major concern about this team. It's been all year long. It's not the run attack. It's not the offensive line, though it's been shaky sometimes. It's the passing attack. And that lies to me on Brady more than anybody else, more than Allen, more than the receivers. They got to figure it out. I mean, look, last night, right? We had, we had 2 receptions by receivers in the first half. That is so unacceptable. I think they finished with the total of, let's see, Gabe had 1, Khalil Shakir had 1, Coleman had 2, and Cooks had 1. So, 5 receptions for the game. That's craziness, right? That should never, ever happen. So that it's a concern. It's definitely a concern.
So I feel like we also need to acknowledge that last night, So there were like 35-mile-an-hour wind gusts as well.
No, I get that,
like,
but it's not just one game though, Dan.
Yeah.
Like if it was just about one game, I'd be like, you know what, you're right. You know what I mean? Like that's my point about like I'm not just singling out because I'm with you. I get it. Some games you can't do that. I mean, the Patriots beat us by passing one time, right? In a game, I think a couple years ago. So, right, you pick them up how you get them, right? But it's not about one game, right? And that's what that's my concern. Yeah.
Don't bring up that damn game. Don't bring up that damn game on the show, man.
Of course it happened to us.
Holy hell, man. I was having a victory Monday until you brought up that game. All right? So my thing is this, right? I acknowledge that our weapons in the wide receiver room are junior varsity, right? I get that, right? Like I wanted Waddle. I wanted a guy in the second or the third. I would have loved to trade up for like Brian Thomas Jr., for example, although he's having his own issues over in Jacksonville. But what I have been heavily focusing on, and this is why I think some people kind of get it misconstrued, because some people think that I'm like a paid figurehead from the front office, like a propaganda machine, like trying to tell people, no, man, this is the greatest coaching staff and play caller of all time. All right?
Right.
I'm not saying that, okay? I do think that he has some situational flaws. I do think that he is relatively vanilla for the most part. However, how I look at it is this. It's like, okay, this is what we have. How are we going to make the most out of what we have? And what I think the formula is, Tommy, and something that finally got implemented into the game plan last night, which I think is going to actually open up wide receivers down in December. Josh starts running the fucking football again.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord. Thank the Lord. Now, a lot of those were designed from Joe Brady, which I will give him that. But if you're having problems and like you clearly have issues with quality of personnel right within this wide receiving room, this is what you got to do, right?
Right.
You need to get Josh in on those design runs because that's going to keep the defense honest. And a perfect example of how this offense was ran in the second half, not in the first half, but the second half, is that boring, awful, not exciting football, which ultimately ends up winning, right? Like with Josh taking what the defense gives him. It's boring. I understand that. But it's those chunk plays. And as we move on through the season, there's two things that I think that need to be cleaned up. Number one, like we've seen a 75% increase in turnovers. And that's not just Josh. I mean, we've had some pretty ugly fumbles from wide receivers and running backs this year too. And then penalties on the offensive line. Out of all the sacks Josh has had, out of all of like these arm punts or these interceptions that he was able to create, a lot of the times on that exact same drive, it was the offensive line putting them in piss poor situations with false starts and putting them in 3rd and 9, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15. So I think why I'm so much hammering on this is, look, I acknowledge that our receiver room is not where it needs to be. All right. That's never been an issue with me. I am on the same page as you. I get it. But now I'm focusing on how can we get this to work? And how we get it to work is do exactly what we did last year until we're in a position to make changes where changes need to be made. That's kind of my thought process. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I get your point. I understand that, but it's not sustainable. So here's the deal, right? Last night, I felt our defense for the first time in a very long time was excellent from quarter 1 to quarter 4. I mean, finally, right? So we got like a McDermott defense, right? Where we're like, holy shit, we have a defensive-minded head coach who's actually making our defense look good for one game. So that's just one game, right? Like, so here's the deal. We can't expect that to be a reality moving forward, right? Like this was a great game. I give him credit. But the reality is that's not going to be the case, every game, right? The defense is going to revert back to, giving up some big plays, giving up some big runs, giving up points, right? Last night's game, our offense was so poor, we were losing at the half, right, 7-3. If our defense didn't continue to play the way it was playing in the second half, this game might be totally different. Because the defense is what scored the first touchdown for the Buffalo Bills. They basically set the tone. They pretty much won us the game. That's very, very rare. And the way that McDermott wants this offense ran, and for those that think that it's just Brady's problem, and I do believe Brady is a major part of the problem, McDermott likes this style, like the one you're talking about, long drives, killing the clock management, run heavy. Problem is when it doesn't work, like it didn't work yesterday, and we only have 3 points. If the defense isn't playing out of their mind, we're losing by more than 7-3. We're probably down 14-3, right? And now we're playing catch up. And what's that do? What's that say? We're playing catch up. We're doing these long drives, and if they don't go well, we're either punting or it's a turnover or we're only putting up 3 points. And now we're down 14-6. And now our defense gives up another touchdown. You know what I mean? So that's been a theme. So for as much as I would love this to say, yeah, this will be great, this is the formula, it's not. We have 4 losses because the formula backfired. It just simply doesn't work against the better teams defensively, when we face them. So we can't be one-dimensional and just be run heavy, run ball control, not rely on our receivers. Because look, when we need a big play to happen, 3rd and long, you saw it yesterday. Receivers not getting open, Allen overthrowing or underthrowing or drop catches. Like these are all like we can't have that. You can't have that in the playoffs. You're not going to win ball games like that. So it's very concerning. It really is, and I don't think this is a successful formula. I don't. I think this is just a 2025 formula that we're going to have to stick with, I guess, because I don't think Brady's changing his ways, and I don't think McDermott is going to either this season. I think what you saw, you mentioned Josh Allen running more. Maybe that's McDermott, like he did in 2023, where he said, all right, fuck it. Yeah, like, you know what? Yeah. Like we're in desperation mode now, right? Like, so maybe we get lucky and that happens. Yeah. Maybe Brandon Cook's a new addition, learns the playbook more, and you get more targets. It's crazy because I saw that game yesterday. Right? We had a 3rd and long for a first down, right? And it goes to Brandon Cooks, right? The guy that just got on the field, right?
Yes.
Allen trusts to go to him immediately. By the way, great separation, perfect catch, no problem, first down. Did we target him ever again in that game? No, 0. 1 target, 1 reception, no more targets. Now, look, I get it. He has to learn the playbook. But, guys, one thing about this, and I want to tell people, the receivers have been, or just players in general that have been in this league a long time, a lot of these playbooks are pretty much the same. These are all routes that they've ran a million times for the most part, right? Yep. Trust me when I tell you, Cooks didn't need to know a whole bunch. They could have gave him a certain amount of plays that he ran in that game that would have been more than 1 target. They just chose not to. So, hopefully moving forward, he gets more targets, but we need more targets in general, Dan. We have to get this thing going. Whatever it is, you got to figure that out.
So here's the deal for me. This game that we won yesterday, and maybe this is me just being delusional, I'm hopping on the train right now, right, is really making me feel the most confident that I felt about this team so far. And I understand that it was the Steelers, but there were a couple of monkeys that got off of our back. Number one, finally a dominant win away. Okay. Thankfully, thank the Lord, something happened quality away, which is good. And that's likely going to be the preview of the playoffs this year. Right. Yeah. And then number 2, and I would love to hear your take on this. It's pretty clear that McDermott ultimately ended up taking over play calling. However, the defense hands down ended up putting up the best performance that we have seen. And while I understand that there's still a lot left to be desired from the pass rush side of things now with Joey Bosa's going out with a hamstring injury, God knows how long he's going to be out. My guess is that he's not going to be good against Cincinnati. But this is the same old Buffalo Bills defense that made us a deep playoff team, an elite secondary, which is not a lie. Like, surprisingly enough, we have quietly the best secondary in the NFL. Like, the best secondary in the NFL as far as pass games allowed. You could make an argument that most teams were just running the football against us quite a bit, and that's why some of these numbers are inflated. But Benford has been playing very well. So is Maxwell Harrison, and even old man Tre'Davious White and Jordan Poyer have been doing their thing. Here's a question to you, which I find to be interesting. Should Terrell Bernard get the Taylor Rapp treatment of a soft benching IR, finish out the season, and roll with Dorian Williams, Shaq Thompson, and Matt Milano as your base linebackers?
Yes.
Bang.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Talking
Absolutely.
about, baby.
Absolutely. Look, I like Bernard. I do. But this season, it seems like he's been playing hurt from week one. It just doesn't seem like he's been right from the jump. And that's a problem, too, I got to say, with these players that we keep bringing back or extending. They have injury history. And we keep on, I don't get why we keep on doing that. We keep re-signing these guys that have a history of injuries, that can't stay healthy. We do it year in, year out when we do these extensions. Once again, I like Bernard. When healthy, he's a good player. But that's the problem. When healthy. So is Matt Milano. When healthy. And by the time they finally get healthy, they're like getting older and they're not as effective anymore on the field. So, and then we're moving on from them, and it's just a waste of 3-4 years in contracts. So, yeah, to answer your question, yeah, put the dude on IR. Go with the guy that brings you the best, production on the field, the healthier player. And I'm totally okay with that. At this point, you got to do what's best for the football team. So I'm with you 100% on that. And as far as I get what you're saying, but they're not going to trick me like they might be tricking you, the Bills. I'm not going to go there yet. I'll tell you what, if they beat Cincinnati and they beat New England, then I'll get back on board as far as me saying I have a little bit more confidence that they're turning around. And I could see this maybe potentially working in the playoffs and having a deep playoff a run. But right now, one game won't do it. They got us against the Chiefs, right? They reeled us back in there. And we're like, oh yeah, and then
we're here.
Yeah,
we're
right?
here.
We're
here, baby. We're
right?
here.
So it's like
so half of the reason why I'm so confident, like right within this team, is largely due to the fact that it's pretty clear Kansas City's not going to make the playoffs this year. Like, they're gone.
That's wild.
And quite frankly, like, we can be critical of like what this offense has turned into, but I mean, realistically, it's the exact same offense as last year. Same DNA. Like, yeah, it's predictable, same thing, whatever. However, in December and in the playoffs, nobody was stopping this team. Like, nobody was stopping it. And like, we tend to really save our best for when it comes to this time of the year. So I will go out and I will say this. If Kansas City truly does not make the playoffs this year, then I am confident that Buffalo is in Santa Clara in February.
I'll counter that
matter.
though.
Yeah.
From last year. The only difference is though, Dan, we were last year going into the playoffs kind of healthy. We had all players on deck for the most part. I don't recall a guy being out. So this year it's a way different story. We got guys out for the season pretty much, right? We're going, I mean, we got guys still, I mean, Joey Bosa just got hurt his hamstring. We don't know how long that's going to linger on for. We know he already has the wrist injury going on. He's wearing the cast. Deion Dawkins, we don't know how long Spencer Brown's going to be out. Now, Dawkins' concussion, he'll be back soon, but we don't know the severity on the Spencer Brown. That's a big loss. Yeah. I mean, we got big losses on both sides of the ball. So it's a little different for me compared to last year. I get what you're saying, but with the amount of injuries and guys that aren't coming back, it's concerning. And that's why I'm saying if the Bills can somehow pull together here at the end here, meaning you get this win against Cincinnati, you go on a streak basically, beat Cincy, beat the Patriots, even beat Philly. Philly's playing not the greatest ball right now. If you can go on a streak here, going into the playoffs where the team is got their confidence back, they're feeling good, things are going good. Maybe some players will even come back. Then I think I can jump back on board and be like, okay, I can see a deep playoff push. But right now, as we speak, it's tough to say that they're gonna make a deep playoff push because they're just got a lot stacked against them. Dan, they really do.
What team though? Like realistically. Like, what team right now in the AFC truly strikes fear in you?
Great question. So let's see. That's a great question because the Colts, you saw what happened to them, right? Yesterday.
Dude, it is a weird season, and it's very tough for me.
It is weird.
It's very tough for me to identify a single fan base right now that should be feeling confident in their team, because every team in the league has awful losses. Every single one of them. You name a team, I will point out NFC. 2 awful losses. Yes, Rams got beat by the damn Carolina Panthers, which is a great win, by the way, folks. Oh, you beat the Panthers. Calm down. Hey, brother. We have a winning record against winning teams this year, all right? So
that's right. That's right.
Fuck it, ladies and gents. But it's so, like, from my perspective, like, it's we're 8-4, and maybe we're feeling spoiled, but this is not just a Bills fan thing. Like, this is a league-wide thing. I suppose you could say the Patriots, but let's remember, like, they ultimately ended up dropping to the Raiders and to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now they're going up against one of the best pass rushing defenses in the league without their entire left side of their offensive line. And plus, like, they're taking advantage of a last place schedule. Like, it's the same story with the Chicago Bears. The Bears and the Patriots are riding with an elevation of quarterback play going into the second year on a rookie contract, taking advantage of a last place schedule. That's what it is for both of those teams. So for me, like, what team scares us? Maybe the Texans, maybe, but will they make it? I don't know.
Honestly, it's still the Chiefs, because I'm not going to count them out yet. Though they don't look like they're going to make it, they're still mathematically in. And go ahead. So the Chiefs are still the team, guys. Like, if they make it in, I think that's everybody's ultimate fear is facing the Chiefs, no matter what they're doing right now in the regular season. That's a team you do not want to face. You don't want to face Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. They've proven that season after season. As far as other teams go, guys, I would say, golly, man, I think we could beat Denver. I like their defense. I don't trust Bo Nix, and I don't trust the offense. The Patriots, they're playing good, like Dan said, but May's not seeing the playoffs, right? Will the big lights, derail him in a way, right? Will he make mistakes in the playoffs? It's possible, right? Young quarterback. We'll see. But they're not really scaring me. I'll tell you what, when we play them in a few weeks, if they do us, if they dog walk us, then I might have a different opinion on the Patriots, right? But for now, they're not really scaring me. The Jaguars, no. Ravens obviously have their own issues, so not really. And we've always, took care of business against the Ravens in the playoffs. Chargers are such a hot and cold team. They don't affect me. And the Colts are right now, you kind of see Daniel Jones being Daniel Jones again. And the Texans, yes, I would say the Texans of all teams right now, maybe, because of that defense, might be one of the most dangerous teams up there if they make the playoffs. So I was saying, Dan, yeah, you're right. I would say the Chiefs, if they get in, are still the most dangerous. I would say maybe the Texans are the second if they get in. And the Patriots could climb the ladder board for me if they dog walk us. Meaning we play the Patriots in a few weeks. If they take care of business and we just look like shit like we did the first time around, that's going to be a problem, right? Like then they just probably have our number and they have the recipe to beat us, and they have the better coach, right? If that happens again, then I just don't see us, if we face them in the playoffs, it being a different outcome. So I would say those three teams, I would say, and two of them may not even get in. So, yeah.
So even then, too, right? Even if they do dog walk us, how hard would it be for a divisional opponent to beat the same team 3 times? If, for example, we were to see them in the playoffs again. So that's also kind of getting me to a point where, like, yeah, like maybe I could give it to the Pats. Maybe they do dog walk us again, but like, how confident are even Patriots fans that you could beat the Bills 3 times? It's tough to do. Last time we played the Dolphins for a third time, we almost got fucking beat by damn Skylar Thompson. All right.
We did.
Another game that put years on my cardiac health.
Yeah, that was rough. That was brutal. But you still will be playing in New England. It would not be an easy out, put it that way. And you got to remember too, it's all about coaching too. Like it starts from there. Do you trust McDermott or do you trust their coach, Vrabel, more, right? In a game like that, right? So that matters too. But then of course you got the opposite, Josh Allen over Drake May. Who do you go? You go to experience over inexperienced quarterback that's never seen the playoffs, right? So There's a lot to it. It is interesting. I will say that. Very, very interesting, especially if the teams that normally make it don't, like the Chiefs, like the Ravens, right? And then you got a lot of inexperienced quarterbacks, right? And then you got Josh Allen. So it's like, most of the time you take the experience MVP type of quarterback in those games. But once again, I go back to how are we going into the playoffs? Are we going in on fumes, just barely squeezing in and injuries all over the board and just not playing good football? Then it's going to be, it doesn't matter who we play. Yeah. You know what I mean? If we go in there with some confidence, we've won some games, we got on a hot streak, then I'll have all the faith in the world that the Bills can beat an inexperienced quarterback and possibly go, who knows how far they can go. So we shall see.
Mm-hmm. And funny enough too, like for some reason, I feel like this league is going to end with some sense of familiarity, because I put out a video maybe about 4 or 5 days ago where I said, is having an elite quarterback even a thing anymore? Right? Is having an elite quarterback even necessary at this point? Because when you ultimately end up looking at the top 4 seeds of the NFL right now, or 3, I would say, is Bo Nix elite in your eyes? No. It's just a good team, a very good team.
Right?
Is Drake May elite yet? Far too soon. Far too soon for us to say.
But he's trending up. I would say he's a really, really good quarterback at this stage.
He's very, very good, but not yet nearly.
You can't. You can't put him there. No.
Jacksonville Jaguars, elite quarterback? No. All right. Ravens and Lamar has not been playing like an elite quarterback, but he is, and we'll see how long they maintain the AFC North.
They also have an elite running back, so you have to add that in consideration. Okay.
Where you ultimately end up having all of the elite guys in the AFC, which is typically mentioned, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow typically. You have Kansas City as the 10th seed, Cincinnati as the 12th, and Buffalo with the final 7th seed at the end of the day. And then you end up going over to the NFC, which is even more interesting. I don't think Caleb's elite.
No.
Definitely think Stafford is.
Yep.
I know people are going to be upset with me when I say this, but I do not think Jalen Hurts is elite. And so
he's not.
And so I think that he's just a part of a very good football
team. He's a good player, though. He's a good player. But he's not elite.
Yeah. So the thing is that right now I think good teams are dominating the regular season, but I think the playoffs are going to tell the true story. And the playoffs are going to be, once you get into the conference level, especially the Super Bowl, it's going to be 2 elite quarterbacks going at it in the Super Bowl. It's not going to be a team thing. That's my take for this season.
Most of the time, yes, Dan, that is correct. It's very rare you see a Super Bowl team have like a Brad Johnson or a Flacco. No disrespect to Flacco, but he's not an elite quarterback. So it's rare you see that. Usually it's the top tier quarterbacks making the Super Bowl. That's 100% right. Now look, last year was Hurts. He's not, you won't consider him elite, but he's very good. Right. And then obviously Mahomes, right. Who's elite. I would say Burrow is up there. Burrow is damn good. I would say he's borderline elite. Some may even say he's elite. And I'll say Cincinnati, boy, that's another team I didn't mention. If they could somehow, because I do think there's going to be a 9-win team that gets in. I have a feeling. If they get in, they could be very dangerous, not because of their defense, but their offense, man, they have playmakers and they could score at any time. So that's a team, too, that I wouldn't want to play. Plus, they play us very well. We got to, honestly, for Bills fans, it would be awesome if the Chiefs, the Bengals, do not make the playoffs. It just gives us, and I hate to say it, and I know it's a coward way of going by it, but eliminating those 2 teams just makes our life much easier, and I'll take it, man.
We could see, right? I totally forgot where I was going with this. It's been a long morning. Hey, man, how was your Thanksgiving? Was it a good time?
It was good at the Golden Corral, man. I got there.
I love the Golden Corral.
I go every Thanksgiving.
It's no Cracker Barrel. It's no Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, no Cracker Barrel.
It's solid.
I went there actually during the Lions game. Perfect time because nobody was there. I'm in Detroit, so it was kind of dead, which is rare for going to Corral. Like because everybody was probably home watching the Lions, lose by the way. So, but no, dude, I had a good Thanksgiving. How was your Thanksgiving, man?
Solid, man. Made a shit ton of food. 12 plus people over at the house. Nice. I'm gonna fast for the next 6 days, bro. I gained like 10 pounds, so I gotta chill, man. I gotta chill a little bit. But folks, listen, you already know that it's giveaway Monday. You might be here for the signed James Cook jersey. For the gentleman that won the Khalil Shakir jersey last episode, have no fear. I'm running to UPS after this. So the holidays just got me all spun out. You know what it's all about, folks. We're going to need each and every single one of you. If, for example, you want to have the opportunity of winning this, you need to be a subscriber to this YouTube channel, number one, and you need to type Go Bills in the chat. Don't go crazy. Like, don't go and putting Go Bills a million times. Like, be reasonable with it, And then I am going to select one of you at random. It must be Go Bills exactly. And so I'm going to cover my eyes, and Tommy's going to count down to 10. And then I will ultimately end up getting all of your information and get you a pretty quality gift. Again, you must be a subscriber to this YouTube channel in order to be eligible. All right, Tommy.
Those are the rules, and that's a great. That's a great one to get. James Cook.
Jimbo Cook.
Jimbo, our finally an extension that made sense. That's working.
Cook, man. You needed more than Saquon Barkley, man. You needed more than Saquon Barkley money. That's much, right. I will tell you. All right, listen, I'm going to be covering my eyes, and our good friend Tommy is going to be, all right, counting down from 10. And wherever my mouse lands, I'm going to click, and that person ultimately ends up winning. All right, Tommy, go ahead.
All right. Good luck, y'all. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go Bills. There it is.
American arrogance. Congratulations.
Yo, me American.
American arrogance. Congratulations. 1577, man. You are now the proud owner of a signed James Cook jersey. Do me a favor, all right? Find me on either X and or Instagram. Send me a DM, okay, with your name, your address, and yeah, bang, bang.
There you go.
So
congrats, man.
Congratulations, guys. I'm pretty much tapped out on signed memorabilia for the rest of the season. So what I'm doing now is I'm just going to be doing all of my giveaways as a jersey of your choice, like off of Fanatics. So now each and every single Monday, I'm just going to be selecting one of you at random to gift you whatever jersey you want off of Fanatics. Say, for example, you want to be a part of these giveaways. You got to be a subscriber to the YouTube channel, baby. That's just all it is.
Real simple.
That is all it has ever been. Tommy, I feel like Bills Mafia wants to talk to us a little bit today. What do you think?
Hey, let's do it, man. Hey, finally, we get a victory Monday. Let the Mafia talk about it.
I feel like Mafia wants to talk a little bit. Guys, we're going to be opening up the Garage Beer Hotline. Okay, what is on your mind? Big win yesterday in Pittsburgh. Funny enough, we actually hold the record for Heinz Field. And no, I don't call it Accenture or whatever the hell they call it now. It's always Heinz Field in my eyes. We hold the record for most rushing yards ever in that stadium. No Pittsburgh Steelers team has it. The Buffalo Bills have it. So, guys, say, for example, if you call in, feel free to go on ahead and lock in. Let me and Tommy hear what you have to say. We treat it like a radio station where we ultimately end up letting you speak for about 20 to 30 seconds. All right? 20 to 30 seconds. 20 to 30 seconds. And then we kick you off, and then we react to what you had to say, your take, your question, what have you. Feel free to call in. Do not be shy.
There you go,
Tommy.
There you go.
Damn.
Oh, man. So, hey, Dan. So tell me, who was your if you had to pick your MVP for the game? Who you going with?
Damn. MVP for the game.
Look at me throwing out some questions.
Dude, it's so tough because I really feel like that this was a team win for the most part. So I genuinely feel that there are no answers here, but so I'll do you one better. One on defense for me is Christian Benford.
Okay.
He was following DK Metcalf for the entire game, holds him to 3 receptions on 5 targets. Absolute lockdown. What we needed to see from CB1. I thought that he was really like one of those players that helped this defense completely shut down whatever Pittsburgh was trying to do. And then on the offensive side of the football, I could go cop out and I could ultimately end up saying James Cook. But how about our guy, Ray Davis? Dude, Ray Davis was doing his damn thing today, man. Finally dialing that man up into the game. At one point, he was averaging like 8 yards a carry. Like, finally, we have like this like 2 running back system. And I still have no idea why it took us this long to get him implemented into the offense. But damn, I am happy about it. That much I can tell you. Dude.
Yeah, dude, Ray Davis, right? Out of nowhere. Like, I think he had more rushing yards in this game than he had all season, I believe, or something like crazy like that,
shit.
Right? Like, yeah, so good for Ray. I thought he ran hard, physical, between the tackles. Yeah, he definitely was one of those bright spots for the team yesterday. I would say for me defensively, I'm gonna go Bosa. He got that sack fumble that led to a very important touchdown. But I get what you're saying with Benford. He had the interception and obviously scoop touchdown. But I'll say Bosa. He like I said, he got the ball rolling there with that, and he played his best game I've seen in a couple weeks. So I'll give it to Bosa. And an offense, I was gonna say Ray Davis too, because Cook is an easy one. But I guess I'll go with Cook since you said Ray. I thought Cook ran hard. He had a lot of carries. And yeah, man, Cook's been a big surprise for me as far as production goes and him actually playing above his contract. So shout out to James Cook.
Shout out to Jimbo Cook, man. Shout out to Jim O. Cook. All right, anyway, let's go on ahead and welcome in the first caller on the Drink Garage Beer hotline. Folks, if you haven't already, you got to pick yourself up a case of garage beer. Beer tasting beer, ladies and gentlemen, the proud beer partner of the Mafia Report, and more importantly, Mondays with the Buffalo Bills. Let's go ahead and welcome in Alex. Alex is in the building. Alex, what's going on, man? Hey, Alex, what's going on? You there?
Alex.
Alex, you there, brother? All right, Alex. Just give us a date. Hey, you there?
All right, my bad. I'm sorry, guys.
No, you're cool. What up, dude?
So I've been watching you for a bit, bro. I love the Bills,
Yeah.
I'm proud of how we responded this week.
Good.
Our defense. I mean, this whole season's been unreliable. I mean, it's just. But, this week I'm just proud of how we did. We don't have the weapons to take downfield shots. Khalil Shakir isn't really a downfield or Keon Coleman. But it is what it is. Maybe a Giants win tonight could change the AFC East. So you never know. But obviously, I love this team. So I still always believe, and it's not over till it's over. So we'll say that.
It's not over until it's over. Alex, we appreciate the call. And Tommy, like, one thing that I'm looking at from this defense is let's hope that we can get over this injury bug, and most of the main injuries are done, right? Like, I feel like the football gods have punished us enough this year. However, this to me is very similar to what Buffalo has been known as for the entire Sean McDermott tenure, of having question marks in the pass rush. And that's not because of offseason moves. It's because of the crazy amount of guys on IR. But I mean, we just have an elite secondary. Like, that's kind of where we are. That has always been our identity. Like, that has always been our identity. Right? Yeah.
Great coverage unit. But yeah, it's DBs that is. But Yeah, it shouldn't be though. It shouldn't be our identity. But you're right. It's been the staple
familiar.
of
it's familiar at least.
Yeah, I don't get it, but yeah. And by the way, too, with the guy the caller just said, for as much as like, and I'm sure you guys watch a bunch of different Bills podcasters, and we all sometimes could be critical, and I'm critical, and Dan could be critical at times. Like, the one thing I can tell you, at least for me, and I'm sure for Dan too, is I don't jump ship. Like, I'll always be a diehard Bills fan, no matter how mad I am, no matter how shitty the season might go. And that's one thing I get your guys' frustrations out there. Sometimes be like, oh, I'm done watching. You're not done watching. Don't lie. You're here with us talking Bills football, even when we lose. And if you're a diehard fan, you listen. You go down with the ship, man. That's how it is. And then you go back at it again the following season. So I'll never stop watching, man. I'll never stop loving this team. But so yeah, don't take when I'm critical of the team, it's not because I'm jumping ship or I'm fucking I can't watch this team. And we're like, I always have love and passion for this team, but don't lose your love and passion for the team, guys. Even when they're doing some terrible, throwing some terrible games out there on Sundays. So stay on board. Stay on board is what I'm trying to say.
It's a crazy world we live in. We have my guy's in the building. What up, Kai? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Feeling?
I hope you had a good Thanksgiving and all that good stuff.
Yeah, likewise.
I was just going to say, isn't it amazing what happens when you actually game plan for pass rush? I know we had two guys that were down, but I seen a meme, and it was Deion Dawkins with his shirt off. And, it's kind of flabby, kind of big. There was Will Anderson with his off, and he's muscular. Why do we think that these big, flabby guys are always going to handle these big, strong, athletic, quick defensive ends by themselves? There's only so much they can do. And the other thing, too, is I think they need to look at – I've seen a couple of penalties where Vandermark last week, and I think it was Anderson or somebody this week, drove the defensive end into the ground, and they called a holding. And I'm like, no, if he's falling down and you push him down, he's on the outside, that's a good play. There's only so much they could do. So,
yeah, dude, listen.
Yeah.
So with the offensive line was certainly an unsung hero, Kai. We appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
I did see that meme, and so I did see that meme, and it's true. But
yeah, I mean, the Dawkins look, it's not about so much the weight; it's about your movement, right? And Deion Dawkins, for a big guy, he can move. So it's not so much about the bigger, muscular guy. It may look like they could be the better fit, but that's not always the case. Fundamentals are everything. Dawkins is good, and I will say this, and Mikey, my co-host, actually said this too. Like after I said Dawkins looked last week like he was concussed early on. The whole standing at one point, like giving up on a play where he just looked lost. And then I guess he told me that other podcasters were mentioning like it's a possibility that Dawkins was already concussed at some point during that Texans game, and that's why he was like out of it. Because it was odd. I don't know if you recall that, where he just kind of like stopped and just stood there. It was really weird. And I'm not saying that's the reason, guys. I'm just, it was just odd for me. And then of course he was concussed after the game. Nobody mentioned it during the game. He never pulled himself out of the game, which is really weird. So it's possible he got his bell rung early in that game and he just wasn't right. So, yeah, we need Dawkins though. Like Dawkins is very good. I get that some games he doesn't show up necessarily, but he's a really good tackle. So
yeah. So really, like all the credit in the world, I think, has to go to Aaron Cromer. Like, dude is like one of the best offensive line coaches. I mean, I know that this team has ever seen. Like a great offensive line coach, and both of the guys that filled in for Deion and Spencer Brown with Alec Anderson and Ryan Vandermark played very well. Granted, like we were certainly game planning for it, right? Like we used a lot of tight ends, a lot of chip blocks, a lot of help, a lot of jumbo packages, but we had answers. Josh did not get sacked once, and that was a defensive line that's a pretty damn good one from Pittsburgh. So we should be happy about this.
And to counter that, not even counter that, to add to that, I know Bean gets a lot of heat, and I gave him a lot of heat too. this season. And I look, I've had Brandon Beanes back for a long time when fans have been, kind of shitting on him. And I'm not saying he's been a perfect GM. He's made plenty of mistakes. But if you look at the depth that we got, especially on offensive line, look, great examples yesterday, right? So those are pieces that Brandon Beane brung in. Those are pieces that he brung in and are unlooked, like people that just kind of like, you don't really notice that until they're on the field. And depth it means a lot in this league, right? Especially on the offensive line. I wish we had that on the defensive line, but Brandon Beane has brung in some good pieces here, some quality depth. And I know we need more than that, but I'm just saying that there is pieces that Brandon Beane's brung in here that a lot of you guys don't talk about and should talk about. So I don't think Beane's done just terrible just job. I think he's gotten some good pieces, quality pieces here, but he's made some mistakes, and he's definitely made one this year, which I am having a tough time forgiving him, which is the Waddle move. And the reason why, Dan, on the Waddle thing, and I know a lot of people say, well, if we got Waddle, wouldn't it make much of a difference? It's the way the offense is running, and who's to say he was going to get, a lot of receptions but that's not the point. The point is, if you brung in Waddle, Waddle would have playing time with Allen for the rest of the season, so they would get comfortable with each other, familiar with each other. Then you go into an offseason where more than likely Brady is not back next year, right? You bring in a new OC. He understands. You got Waddle. So you have your one. You have Allen. He knows now he's going to scheme things up for Waddle better. You don't need to go through the draft worrying about a receiver. You don't need to go through free agency overpaying for a receiver. You had one on board. That was my biggest problem with not executing that trade. Not so much about what he would have done this season, but what he would have done going forward. You know what I mean? So that I can't really forgive Beane for. But everything else, Dan, I got to say, I don't think he's that bad of a GM where people are making it out to be. At least I don't see it that way. And at the end of the day, guys, I think McDermott is the ultimate puppet master. He's the one that's controlling the strings. He's the one that could cut the strings. And it would not shock me if Brandon Beane were to be fired before McDermott here. And that would tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, I'm like a big apologist for Brandon Beane. And some people get upset with me, right? Like when I go out and I like say, look, dude, like he's fucking doing everything that you need him to, right? Like you look at all the seasons of how the Buffalo Bills seasons ended, and it's pretty clear that we all walk away with what our biggest weakness was. Last year, I would say the big piece was that we were awful in pass rush. We couldn't get to the quarterback, right? Like that was the biggest thing people talked about. What did Beane do? Went out and he spent an entire offseason addressing that defensive line. He's not signing guys knowing that they're going to be on the IR by week 6, by week 7, right? Like a lot of the guys that are on IR currently have no injury history, like very little injury history. It was quite frankly just
It happens. Yeah, it happens.
I mean, it happens. Yeah. It's ball. You know what I mean? And the year before that, like when we ended up drafting Keon Coleman, which a lot of people were upset about, the biggest problem with the Buffalo Bills, at least as far as dominating conversations, was we didn't have a 50-50 ball wide receiver. Because people were pissed at Diggs for not coming down with that ball, that deep shot against Kansas City. Yeah. So you can't take it away from him that he doesn't recognize what the Bills' biggest problem is toward the end of the season. And I always like reminding people too, like guys, like we're in a salary cap league, man. Like you look at teams, like the grass is always greener on the other side. Like when you're mad about the wide receiver room, like you point and like you give a couple of examples of teams that may be a lot better in the wide receiver category than the Bills. Maybe that's right, but find what the biggest weakness is on their team other than the wide receiver room. Like, for example, with the Bengals, great wide receiver room, great in the NFL. What's their problem? Offensive line. Practically everybody on defense, right? Like every single team is going to have a glaring weakness. So that's why I'm more empathetic with Brandon Beane.
I am too, but my only issues with Beane, my main issues really is when things aren't going as planned, meaning you're year 9 into this operation, meaning the McBean, tenure, right?
Yeah.
And things aren't going as planned, meaning what's as planned? The plan is to get to a Super Bowl. It's not to be AFC East or AFC East champions. It's not to go to a division game and lose. It's not the ultimate goal is a Super Bowl. You're year 9 in. When things aren't going as planned, right? You got to switch things up. You got to kind of change direction, right? And I feel like with Bean, he doesn't like to step outside his comfort zone. So last year, he knew we had a receiver problem. Why do I know that? Because he traded for Amari Cooper, right? And then you go into the offseason. You know it. You hear it. You know why I know he hears it? Because he went on a radio station and he bitched them out about it, right? Because it's not just them. Clearly, he's been hearing this all offseason. It got to him. And then he hears it again when he's about to go live and he freaks out, right? Because he's probably heard it all offseason. And not only did he hear it all offseason, he heard it all last season at a certain point. Then he doesn't draft a receiver. Okay, fine. You got the deadline. You can make up for it right now. Because Bills Mafia would probably forgive him for not getting a receiver in the offseason, right? Not getting really one in the draft. You had an opportunity, you failed, right? You dropped the ball again. So that's one. 2, in drafts, I would love, just for once, and he did it one time in 2018, for him to stop stockpiling these goddamn draft picks and instead trade up and you at least get back in the top 15 and grab yourself an instant playmaker, a guy that's a needle mover. I think all of Bills Mafia would be fine with losing even half the picks if that's what it took to get a guy that could come here and be a star player, an instant impactful player. And it's tough, Dan, when you're drafting at the end of each round. And you're also you're trading back a lot of the time to just grab guys that aren't even going to either make the team or guys that are just practice squad players. Like, you got to eventually do something different. And that's my knock when it comes to Bean. Outside of that, I don't think his drafts have been terrible. But, dude, you're year 9 in. It's time to kind of roll the dice a little bit. Take more chances, right? Swing a little bit more. Because you know you're never getting in the top 15. You know that you're going to be a playoff team year in, year out. But you know that you have glaring holes, and when you're in salary cap hell, what's the best way, Dan? Through the draft. Because it's not going to cost you a lot. Trade up. You have 1 million picks every year. We have 10 plus picks. Trade up. You did it in 2018. You could do it again. So that's my knock when it comes to Bean. You gotta be more. You gotta step outside your comfort zone a little bit more often and take some more swings. That's my only thing really with him. Will he? I don't know.
That is the move. Cold Front Buffalo's in the building. Cold Front, what up, man?
What's up, boys? How are you?
Chilling, brother. How was Thanksgiving?
Good. Very good. Very good. It's a lot easier going to work on Monday mornings after a nice Sunday W. I can tell you that much.
Always.
Just going to add to your MVPs of yesterday. You stole a little bit of my thunder with Aaron Cromer. He has to be in there. 250 yards with both of your Pro Bowl-esque tackles not playing. Have to add him in. And I want to give kudos to Shaq Thompson and Terrell Favors. Shaq Thompson went publicly and said that he got his team together, although he didn't want any credit for this, and said that he put it against the defense to take it personally with run stopping and put a mindset into their heads of, you have to take this personally. So he did great. He really stepped up. Shaq Thompson and Terrell Shavers. I got to watch the film. He set the edge on these duo zone concept runs better than I've seen a wide receiver, and I don't know when. He was a short split. He didn't line up very wide. He was almost an extension of the line almost all day, and he set the edge. Those duo zones that James Cook bounced outside for 45 or 147 yards, enormous. I'll listen to you off the air. Appreciate you both. Those are my 3 MVPs. Huge day. On to Cincinnati. Another must win, in my opinion. See you, boys.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cold Front. He's my partner for previews right now, actually, Tommy.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, you're my recap partner. He's my preview partner. Shout out to Cold Front for being the guy right there, man. Just bringing diversity into the building, baby. That's what we need. We need that here,
You gotta have it.
And go off. What were you about to say?
No, I agree with what he was saying, by the way. That's one thing they wanted these receivers to do over the last 2 seasons. And I think they've done a good job was blocking, right? And if that's what we're leaning more towards is a running attack first, running style kind of offense, you need receivers to block as well. So we didn't really have that in the past. Diggs wasn't a good blocker out there. Gabe Davis was, but outside of that, obviously Cole Beasley that wasn't his thing, and John Brown clearly. So that's why if you notice last year we got bigger at receiver, right? Started getting bigger physical guys, and you kind of saw the movement there. But I'm with them there. I agree with that. They're a big reason why some of those outside runs too were successful.
And you know what, man? Like, you can go on ahead and criticize this wide receiver room, but them boys can damn run block, brother.
Yeah.
Them boys can damn run block, brother. I'll tell you what. Shaver's out there blocking like an animal.
That's
and
right.
Shakir was also setting the edge like an absolute madman. Like that's precisely what it all is, man. A beautiful thing. Steve-O is in the building. What's up, Steve?
Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Victory Monday.
Happy Victory Monday.
I just want to say this, okay? So I was listening to Sal Capaccio this morning, and he had people calling in, and I got a friend named Brian that lives in Western New York. I called him after the game last night, and I said, well, what do you think about that? I said, well, they just beat a crappy team, but I don't want to put them up against a really good team because I don't think they can beat them. So here's what I said to Brian. I said, look at the Bills against the Texans. Did the Bills look crappy? Well, yeah. Does that make them a bad team? No. They got embarrassed by the Dolphins. They played crappy. Does that make them a bad team? No. He said, no. I said, so the point is, just because the Bills beat the Steelers and, embarrassed them, and especially the defense, that doesn't make the Steelers a bad team. It doesn't take away from the Bills' victory. And here's the thing. Sal Capaccio was saying this. Look, I know that the Bills didn't pass as much as we would like to have seen them done, but they did what they had to do. They ran the ball, and TJ Watts after the game was saying, I can't believe a team ran that play that many times. That wasn't a degrading comment about the Bills. That was a degrading comment about the Steelers that Watts was making, because they set a record for the number of running yards against the Steelers at home in that stadium. They did what they had to do, folks. Come on. They won 26-7. They won the game. And as Steve Tasker, who played for this team, has said many times, as long as they won, who cares how they did it, whether it's pretty or not, whether Josh is Superman or not. If they win the game, that's all that matters. So, folks, quit your complaining. The Bills are doing fine, and I believe they're going to continue on. And you know what? They have the potential to go all the way this year and get us back to the Super Bowl and win. So back your team, man. I mean, yeah, you can criticize all you want, but you know what? Fans are armchair quarterbacks. We're not on the team. We're not on the field. We're not in the coaching staff. We're not in the trenches with this team. But back your team and watch what they do. And, whether they look great or not, as long as they come out with a win, that's all that matters. And they looked spectacular yesterday. And one more thing I got to say, Sal Capaccio mentioned this. That dirty hit that Queen made on Josh Allen when he slid yesterday, he said that was the turning point in the game, because that really pissed the Bills off. And then what happens? They come out in the second half. Here comes Bosa. He gets that fumble from Aaron Rodgers. Christian Benford scoops it up. Defense scores a touchdown. Boom. Total turning in the momentum of that game. So I got to give kudos to this team all the way around. Yeah, the offense didn't.
Shout out to Steve, man. We appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you for tapping in.
That's right.
And the Steelers, man, they were.
Dude,
the
Cameron thing
yesterday, brother.
Yeah, well,
Cam Hayward out there, whining like a little bitch.
Dude, I don't know if you saw that play.
Yeah,
Did you see the Hayward? Okay, so let me tell you, guys. That dude is acting like Allen need him in the nuts, right? Or he hit him with so much force that he knocked the wind out of. he simply lifted his knees up. I did not see anything that was crazy, like where it would really hurt him, and this guy's gonna, not have kids in the future. Like, dude, like, calm down, bro. And that guy would not let it go. He was heated after the game. He was acting like, Allen was over there kneeing him in the face and growing. Like, it was crazy, bro.
So we may have seen the very first taunting penalty called ever on a team that got scored on.
Yeah.
I think that had to be one of the only times we've ever seen that penalty called on a team on defense, which is insane. Like, dude.
And how about the kickoff, Dan? Which I didn't even know that rule existed. Like, I was pissed at first I'm like, this stupid Prater misses an extra point, kicks it out of bounds, and it turned out to be because of the penalty, an actually smart play to do, which is kick it out of bounds and they get the ball at the 25. That was wild. That sequence was wild.
What can you do, man?
Yeah, that was just a wild sequence. But yeah, man, the I get what Steve's saying, by the way. I understand your point with the, we need to just take the wins and I agree. You got to, of course, a win is a win. I mean, look at the Dolphins yesterday. That was a crazy ending on how they won the game. And at the end of the day, they'll take the dub. But when we sit here and we talk about the team, we also got to be realistic and we got to critique a little bit and we got to talk about, because the regular season's still here, about the team moving forward and what the things that they need to improve on in order to make a realistic run. Because like I said earlier, Dan, the goal is a Super Bowl. It's not to be a 10-win team, right? And get knocked out year after year after year. Like, we gotta fix shit up here. We got to correct things. Because the goal is a Super Bowl. That's it. There should be no other goal. Like that's it in my mind. I think, let's say, when McDermott got here, fine. Realistically, we were happy just to get in the playoffs. Cool, right? Like, and then, okay, we won the East. Cool. Like, that was awesome. It was fun. I remember I bought like a AFC East belt. I'm like, yeah, we won the division. I mean, it's been forever. But guys, we're year 9 in. Like, now the goal, realistically, all that shit's over with. We need to win a Super Bowl. Like, that's it. There is nothing else more that matters. So, Dan, we got to get it done. Got to get it done.
Have to get it done. Beth is joining us. Beth, what's up? Happy Monday.
Hey, happy Victory Monday, boys. How we doing today?
Feeling great. It's Victory Monday. Thanksgiving's in the books. We're great.
Awesome. I have to say, this week in general, from Thursday straight forward to, what will be Monday Night Football tonight, this has been a week of upsets. I mean, total upsets. I did not see Baltimore and Kansas City losing. I did not see the Eagles losing. I did not see the Colts losing. These were all teams that I expected 100% hands down. They were winning this game this week. This puts Buffalo in a really good position. I don't think that we've talked about that yet this morning, and maybe you have, and I just came in late and didn't hear it. But to be very honest, with these are the 4 front runners aside from New England. And New England, I mean, when do they play? When, tonight?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Against the Giants.
Against the Giants. And that's probably going to be a win. However, Giants just fired their head coach, and it is a trend that usually the first game after, or second game after a team fires their head coach, they get a win. So I'm not saying Jackson Dart can't do it. I like Dart. So it is very, very possible that we may even end up seeing New England drop one, which puts us 1 game out from them, really. We're in a good
game
position.
And a half, I think. Game and a half. We're 2
yeah, because they have to have the bye out.
Correct, and then we play them. If we beat them, they need to lose one of these games that they're supposed to win.
Yeah,
basically, they got to lose one if we want to really. And I don't think I don't think it's going to happen. I think the East is theirs for this year, and that's fine. I'm okay with that.
And so, Beth, we certainly appreciate the call.
Thank you, Beth.
So I look at this from this perspective, right? Say that the Giants could pull off a miracle tonight. I'm not so confident that it's going to happen. I do think Drake May is going to have one of his down games, though. Especially with that overall. So they're missing players on the offensive line and that pass rush. But say that does happen, we have to beat them in New England. And then you need to hope that this Ravens team can wake up And so with Lamar Jackson, they have been not looking the same. And for
Dude,
the past couple of weeks, with Lamar has been struggling, like awfully.
Yes, yeah,
right?
yeah.
He could be playing through an injury, or I don't know what's happening there. We have teleporting goalpost in the building. What up?
What's up, guys?
Chill, man. What's on your mind?
So I did this like a week and a half, like 2 weeks ago. I went through every single draft pick that the Bills have made since Brandon Beane took over.
Mm-hmm.
In the first round, he hit on 6 of 7 draft picks. The only one he missed on was Kyrie Elam because he sucks. Let's be honest.
Yes.
In the first 4 rounds, he hit on 17 of 28 picks in the first 4 rounds. Then in his 5th, 6th, and 7th round picks, he spent 34 picks and only hit on 7 players. That is abysmally bad. Why does he keep holding all these late round picks when you have an 85, 86% success rate in the first round? It just doesn't make sense. I just wanted to go back to what you were saying about with the draft. Like, trade up. You have such a high success rate in the first round. Why are you holding to the second, to the third, to the fourth? Just go in the first round. We have such a high success rate. It doesn't make any sense. That's all I got to say, though.
He's actually had success in the first 3. He's done well in the first 3, I think, in my opinion. Even 4. He's hit on Spencer Brown. He's hit on say what you want about Gabe Davis, but he was a hit for a 4th round. Khalil Shakir for, I think he was a 3rd, 4th round. He was a hit. Obviously, James Cook was a hit in round 2. Obviously, Josh Allen. Edmonds, who's no longer here, I would still consider him a hit. Ed Oliver, I would say top 10 borderline, but everybody had Ed Oliver top 10, so I don't hate on the pick because Ed Oliver was considered a top 10 pick. So, but I agree, and that's what I said earlier. You need to start going up in the draft instead of down and try to get some more impactful players. But Dan, on the schedule, I don't know if you've seen, there's some interesting games over the next few weeks. Like this week here coming up, Colts and Jacksonville. I mean, Colts could lose here, right? At Jacksonville. That's interesting, right? You got Pitt at Baltimore. I mean, you never know there. I don't know what Pitt team you get. They're fighting for a playoff spot. They're in that division.
Steelers are historically very good against Baltimore.
Yeah, and then you got Houston and the Chiefs. And if Houston beats the Chiefs, which I think you can count. I think you could probably say the Chiefs are done at that point. I don't think the Chiefs get in if they lose against Houston, especially at KC. So
the Chiefs can't lose another game.
That's what I mean. So
they can't lose another game.
You got interesting games coming up, man. I mean, you really do. You got Philly and Los Angeles. I mean, there's a lot of tough games coming up in the AFC.
What can you do? Last caller stepping into the garage. Bills fan number 1. What's going on, man?
Hey, Dan. How you doing?
Hey, man. Living the dream. How about yourself?
I'm good. I'm actually mid-class right now because I'm in 8th grade and I do online school. I just want to
there you go.
I want to ask, do you think the Bills are going to get like a franchise receiver in the draft or this year's free agency?
Man, that is a great question, dude. I appreciate the call in. Look at that, man. A dedicated audience, paying attention in school. Bills fan number 1. You are the man.
That's right.
So I certainly hope so, right? Right now, say that I had a dream off season. Number 1, I would like to make a trade for a wide receiver, which is important, right? Whether or not that's revisiting Jalen Waddle. I would also be very interested in bringing in Alec Pierce from the Indianapolis Colts if they decide to walk away from him. Very good wide receiver, solid X guy. And then I would also be happy with a first-round target as far as weapons are concerned. I like Chris Brazzell from Tennessee. He's probably one of my favorites, coming out of it. With Carnell Tate from Ohio State, I don't know if he'll be in our wheelhouse. Maybe Brandon Beane does do what Tommy's pounding the table for him to do and trade up and get him. But yes, I would like to see 2 more weapons being added to this team between free agency and or trade and the NFL draft. But 3 positions to keep an eye out on. I don't know if this is in any particular order, but I think Buffalo is going to be going with linebacker, interior offensive lineman, and wide receiver are the three positions that I think are going to be the theme of this offseason.
Absolutely, dude. I'm 100% with you. You got to have your replacement for Milano, and you got to have your replacement for Edwards. Edwards is I like him. As a matter of fact, I would like Edwards to stay as a depth piece. Like you'd be perfect guy if he would be willing to stay here just as depth. But they got to get a guy next to Dawkins that's better fit. Dawkins has one thing I feel bad for Dawkins. He hasn't had a guy next to him that's reliable since Richie Incognito. Let's be real. So he needs that, and then yeah, man, like a receiver. I just don't know with the cap if they could trade for one. Though they tried with Waddle, so if they tried there's a possibility that Bean can work it somehow, work it in the numbers, which I'm cool with. Either way, you got to get yourself a receiver. I think now, Dan, 2 years now, I think he's learned his lesson. I'm hoping that one is you have to have a guy, and we don't have that guy, and that experiment of not having that guy has failed. So correct it, fix it, do what you got to do, make it happen.
Damn, what can you do? Folks, Matthew, I'm sorry you're backstage, but I'm closing the Garage Beer hotline. I need to run some errands, all right, which includes sending off this jersey, the Shakir jersey from last week, finally. Tommy, what do you got to say to the audience before we send them off?
Yeah, I'll be going live tonight at 10 p.m., Monday Night Uncensored, so if you want to join me and Mikey, please do. There's the channel right there, Mafia Sports Report.
Know it up.
Yeah, Dan, I appreciate you as well. This has been a great season, fun season. Look forward to continuing to work with you. And everybody in the chat, man, you guys brung it. Appreciate you guys. And yeah, man, like I said earlier, don't jump off the ship, man. Especially if you guys are long life Bills fans. You already been through the worst of the worst, right? I mean, we had 4 straight Super Bowl losses, so it can't get no worse than that, right? Going there and not getting one done. So, and then you got the drought years on top of it. So this ain't shit for me, right? So stay on board, stay with the ship, and we'll be all right, man. So Bills Mafia, love you, and as always, go Bills.
Go Bills indeed, folks. I will be live on 4th and Forever here in exactly an hour. The Bills Roundtable will be live later this afternoon as well. Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon. Peace.
Go Bills.